I've spent perhaps more of my life than I would have intended sitting listening to legislators talk about school finance and to judges and justices sit and talk about school finance. And I have reached the conclusion that I think was on full display today, that everybody is working sincerely to do their jobs on the subject matter as they see them. But the fundamental problem is on one side of 10th Avenue in Topeka, people speak French, and on the other side they speak Spanish. And the languages are close, and every once in a while one side gets the gist of what's being said by the other, but a lot of nuance gets lost. And I think that was on full display in the court's question and the arguments of counsel today. In the spring of 2014, when the legislature responded to the Gannon order, there is no doubt in my mind that the prevailing sentiment, the dominant sentiment, I think the only sentiment, although you never say in absolutes, was that they intended to and believed they were doing what the court had ordered them to do. And while I understand the sort of nuanced questioning today related to exactly what numbers were being presented by the Department of Education at that point, that may be the questioning now. But at the time, the question was, what is the number? What is the cost? What must we do? And the only numbers they had were the ones presented by the Department of Education. Those were numbers relied upon not only by the elected officials, who obviously are political actors in all of this, but by the legislative staff, who wrote memoranda and briefings telling the elected officials what they had to do. The point is, they did what they thought they were instructed to do, and now they're being questioned for whether they did so sincerely. And I think that is not helpful to the long-term resolution.
They're not being questioned for the bill that they passed in 2014. They're being questioned for the bill that they passed in 2015, which removed some of the money that they had.
Well, except that's just not a true statement. The way you just put it is not a true statement. I'm not calling it a question what was argued in the court today, but it is not a true statement that the legislature in 2015 removed money. It is true the legislature in 2015 did not appropriate additional money to meet what they were then told was the amount they should have done in 2014. But the bottom line is they were instructed to provide a particular amount of funding. They were advised to provide a particular amount of money in 2014 in order to meet the requirements of the court. They did it. And now we come in 2015 and the target seems to have moved.